Well, the Facebook Oversight Board upholding the ban on President Trump, although it's still unclear if it's going to be a lifetime ban. Now, the board also took Facebook's management to task for its ham-fisted and inconsistent approach to its suspensions, calling it in-net policy. Joining me now, Republican Congressman Mark Green of Tennessee. Congressman, your thoughts on this, upholding the ban, and what it might mean for Congress, particularly with respect to rescinding Section 230?
Sure, Charles. Thanks for having me on the show. Always enjoy being with you. You know, Facebook allows some of the most totalitarian, authoritarian dictators, the biggest human rights abusers on the planet, just free reign on their platform, and yet they want to, block right-leaning conservatives. Not only, the president, but they'll block tweets from us as well. It's really a choice. They're picking sides, and that violates, it basically makes them a publisher. And they shouldn't have the exemptions under those. We should pull those immediately.
Yeah. Let me ask you, yesterday, President Biden had an update on his COVID-19 approach, and he has this new policy. I guess they're calling it use it or lose it. And as I look at it, it really seems like it's something pretty threatening towards red states. In fact, I think it could be a really dangerous gambit if the federal government decides to deny states vaccine medicines because their vaccination rates aren't high enough. What are your thoughts? I mean, is this kind of intimidating, effort going to make more people take the vaccine?
Well, Charles, I'm an airborne rifle company commander, from the 82nd Airborne Division. I think the resupply should go where the resupply is needed. If they're basing it off vaccination rates, that would be wrong. If they're basing it off of where there's vaccine needed, where the bullets have been shot, that's where you send the bullets on the battlefield. And if they're managing that day to day and getting the vaccine to where it's needed, I'm okay with that. The goal is to get as many people vaccinated as possible.
Yeah, but what about a state that has a low vaccination rate vis-a-vis other states, but it's in part because people are reluctant to take it? Do you remove their supply?
Well, you don't remove their supply. No, not at all. I mean, they should have the supplies they need to vaccinate the people that want to be vaccinated. I'm against forcing someone. I believe in religious exemptions for vaccinations. But at the same time, if there's a state that has used all theirs, they're out of bullets, so to speak, again, to put it in that military logistical resupply terminology, I think the vaccine should be to where it's needed. And they should manage that day-to-day battlefield.
I'm with you on that. In fact, I think that's why their approach to India initially I thought was a big mistake. This morning from the administration, they're removing a Trump-era rule. Essentially, it made it easier for gig workers. And what really blows my mind on this is for a decade, I've heard liberals and progressives talk about this work-life balance. I can't think of nothing better or that makes the work-life balance work than the gig industry. And yet they seem to have so much animosity toward this industry. What is that all about?
I don't get this at all. I've been both the CEO of a healthcare company and an independent contractor as a physician. And it really should be the company and the person providing the services that decides the relationship that person has with the company. And a good company has a mix of employees and a mix of independent contractors. That's the best way to run the company, especially certain service industries like the gig economy. I think it's authoritarianism from the government. I think Uber and some of these woke leftist companies ought to wise up. The Democrats have nothing to offer them but more regulatory, control.
Yeah, they want to unionize them.
That's
Congressman Green, it's always a pleasure having these conversations, and I'll talk to you again real soon, I hope.
Thanks, Charles. See you soon.